Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Day's Podcast along with a new video. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Thank you for viewing. I truly appreciate it. I love when I'm able to see responses and comments and likes, and I truly appreciate being able to give you guys the best content I can give. And there will be more that will be coming out very soon exclusively as well through Patreon and Spotify, so be sure to check that out. But we just recently talked about SWV, their first album, It's About Time. And I wanted to be able to gear into talking about groups because there are a few groups out there that I am interested in talking about and that should have acknowledgement, as opposed to, artists that we do know and have stood out. But we need to be able to talk about all music, okay? Different genres. And we will do just that. We will talk about pop and rock and all types of music. Oh no. We're not going to just talk about the hip hop and R&B and some of the pop. No, we're going to talk about it all. Okay? So, with that being said, let's get into this next video and episode. And we are now talking about New Beginning, which is the second studio album by SWV. All right, let's get into it. It was released by RCA Records on April 23rd, 1996 in the United States. The lead single, You're the One, became one of their signature songs, peaking at number 5 on the US Billboard Hot 100 and topped the R&B charts. The second single, Use Your Heart, saw the debut of the super producers, the Neptunes. So, this is where we get to really hear Pharrell. And I've said this before, when you get to see like the beginnings, because of course it's called New Beginning, but when you get to see like the beginnings of like writers and producers and all these collaborators that like really synchronize with these artists like in certain time periods, it's like, oh my god, so this is where it started, this is where it's happening. The song peaked at 22 on the Hot 100 and number 6 on the R&B chart. The last single, It's All About You, found Taj taking most of the lead as opposed to Coco. New Beginning was certified platinum by the Recording Academy. They recorded the album from November 1995 to February 1996. So December, January, it only took them a few months. And I feel like it was, based on the fact that, like I was saying in the previous video, they may have been touring, they may have been doing some promotions, and, they had remixes that were coming out as well. So they wanted to make sure that they could be able to promote, even from it being the first album when they released the second album, because they know the songs now, well, people, us, the public. Critical reception, AllMusic found that the group does take a different approach on New Beginning, backing away from the new jack grooves that dominated their debut and exploring a more direct, organic R&B vibe. They haven't left hip-hop behind, but they've added a new array of sonic textures that gives their music added depth. But the true strength of New Beginning is the vocal capabilities of SWV. There may be a couple of weak spots on the album, but the trio's considerable talents make those moments easy to forgive. So this is the thing. This album is actually favorable. It's actually just as good as their first. And I feel like the critics may have been a little bit too dry on certain things when it comes to albums. Like, let's just look at the track list, okay? Like New Beginning interlude, track 1. You're the One, track 2. So already we getting the first single like right then and there. So we're already You're the One, like already going off. And then track 3, What You Need. And then, so What You Need is actually a slept song. Y'all slept on that, I'm sorry. That's underrated. 'Cause I got what you need, baby, and you ain't, no. You can call on me. You're the only one. On and On is track 4. See, I almost was trying to sing y'all the song. Nope, I ain't doing no copyright. It's All About You, track 5. Use Your Hearts, track 6. Where's the Love, interlude, track 7. Fine Time, track 8. Love Is So Amazing, track 9. Use Your Heart, interlude, track 10. You Are My Love, track 11. I'm So In Love, track 12. When This Feeling, track 13. What's It Gonna Be, track 14. That's What I'm Here For, track 15. Don't Waste Your Time, track 16. And Soul Intact, interlude, track 17. So they had a little bit more tracks, and there wasn't really a sense of doing bonus tracks because they had more tracks this time. And yes, they was able to debut in the top 10, and they reached number 9. And that's a really great accomplishment, especially in the mid-90s going into the late 90s, because like I said, there was all these new and old artists were emerging and were returning, as if anything. So it was just like, when you had to release, you had to release. And that was the time. And I know they look back and they're like, could we have done more, or made more? And maybe, but in reality, it's just, they were being authentically themselves. They were working down. They only had up to 3 months from when they were doing an album to release it. And then, you know, if we're all the way honest here, they had released Some Tension a year later, which wasn't too far from when they had already released their second album. So they came out with a third album literally a year after. So I think what it was at the time, you know, a lot of artists made you feel then, no, I ain't gonna take too long, I'll be back. Because at the time, you know, you didn't have this social media where you were just kind of looking and seeing, all right, why are they not, you know, they ain't did this in a while. Like, we didn't have this much insight. Back then, you kind of trusted the artist, you know, it was like, all right, we gonna wait, you know. Nowadays, it's, oh, they was at this event, so they must not working on this album. Can they be human too? Like, can they do what they want? You know, like, I just, hey. And then when people do release albums, it's, oh, well, it could have performed this way, or there could have been more videos, or there's no videos. What's going on? And it's like, well, there's videos as far as You're the One. And Use Your Heart, I believe, has a video too. But just speaking in general, there's a lot of expectations that were going on, whether it was 30 years ago, damn near, from when this album was pretty much released, as opposed to now. This just expectations, period. But I will say this, I am glad that there was a second album and a third, because they needed to make sure they were stamped. And they was able to continue to do more albums thereafter, and even be able to make TV appearances. So, and then they're currently doing tours now. So, SWV, if anything, in the long run, they're doing very well, in a respectful way, in a great way too. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and video, and I will be back with more.